Are you ready to transform your summer into an epic splash-tastic adventure? Say goodbye to wasteful, single-use water balloons and hello to the ultimate in reusable, eco-friendly fun with reusable water balloons. Check out the link in the video description to get yours on Amazon today.
As Scarlett slumped, dead, in my arms, I felt my heart break. Worst of all was knowing I had done this to her. It was March 29, 2021, and I had just killed my dog. It was I who had rung the vet and booked the appointment, and I who had cooked her final meal, MS Best Ever Burger. It was I who led her into the surgery, lifted her up onto the trolley, and held her while the vet put the cannula into her leg. I'd nodded at the vet to let her start administering the deadly solution, and I'd seen what no one else saw, a flash of reproach in her eyes, even as she fell lifeless into my arms. It was the saddest day of my life, more heartbreaking, even, than the death of my elderly father 6 months before. That had felt like the right and proper closing of a circle and part of the cycle of life, with no decisions to make. All we had to do was ensure we got there to say goodbye, send him well-loved into the night, and then look after my mother as she grieved her companion of 57 years. The fact that this, the loss of Scarlett, made me feel worse was a source of guilt, of course. She was just a dog, right? We'd done everything by the book, too, buying a transitional dog, Vesper, 2 years beforehand, so Scarlett could teach her the lie of the land and we'd still have a dog to carry on the dog-owning, and dog-loving, routine after she'd gone. We had taken heed of the advice, better a day too early than a day too late, and made sure to track when Scarlett no longer seemed to enjoy, or manage, her life. We didn't want her to be that dog on wheels, or in a pram. We knew she would have hated that, so why did it feel so wrong? I think because I felt like God, and not in a good way. I felt like I had taken a life. All my dog had done was love me unconditionally, 100%, every minute of her life. And what had I done to reward that love? Meanwhile Vesper, no longer merely a transitional dog, was clearly wrestling her own demons, straight from her puppy litter into our arms and the larks with Scarlett. She had never been alone. Now she was left at home by herself, when my husband, our children, and I were all out and about. She wasn't having that. She howled and barked every minute we were gone. Not ideal when you live in a terraced house. In time, with enough of my friends telling me to get over my God complex and realize Scarlett had had a good long life at 14.5 years, and with the new dog needing my attention and training, I pulled myself together, because she was just a pet. Until January this year, when my friend, the Killing Eve director Harry Bradbeer, called to tell me that his beloved dog, Socks, had just died. I'm just heartbroken, Susanna, he sobbed. It's as if I've lost an extension of myself. I can't bear it. I knew you would understand. As he spoke, I thought sadly of Socks, a gorgeously eccentric Dachshund, a cross between a dachshund and a chihuahua, whom we had looked after a couple of times, immortalized as Socks, the wonder dog in the 2020 adventure film Enola Holmes, which Harry had directed. Oh Harry, I feel your pain, I said, and then stopped. Because I did feel pain, but not his. Selfishly, it was all mine. A tsunami of misery and ugly grief for Scarlett swamped me, as overwhelming as it had been 3 years before, and I couldn't actually speak for the physical feeling of loss. Harry and I wept together that day and a few occasions after that. He is, after all, the man soppy enough to persuade Phoebe Waller-Bridge not to strangle the guinea pig Hillary in Fleabag, which he also directed, as she had done in her original theatrical monologue. Hillary, animal lovers will be relieved to hear, went on to live a long happy life. But where had my sudden, ugly resurgence of grief come from? I wandered around the internet, looking for an explanation, which is how I found Dawn Murray, a 60-year-old Scottish pet bereavement counselor. Dawn is the founder of the new Association of Pet Bereavement Counsellors, APBC, which brings together UK independent counsellors to self-regulate what could become an industry of charlatans preying on, and profiting from, the vulnerability of others. I tell her Scarlett's story, how she was the first dog I owned as an adult, and the first pet that I made the decision to put down, how I feel I didn't own Scarlett but that she and I were a unit, which is why I felt so bad about taking her life away. She cluck.